Hi everyone, my name's Paulina. I have one more tarot message for today. Intuitive, mediumistic, psychic reading, tarot informed, astrological informed message for you, which may or may not involve cards. But lately I've been reading cards from my mind, my inner mind, because I've used the deck so many times. But I will probably get back into actual card reading soon, but like with physical cards. I also have YouTube and Instagram. I don't know which platform this is that you're going to be seeing this on, but TikTok is where I actually get followers or people looking at what I do, because it's easy to get engagement on there. So I'm going to start posting different things on different platforms and not just the same thing on all three. So if you're interested in getting more of my guidance, please check that out. So yeah, let's tune in. I had a pretty strong hit after that last reading about illness, that I first thought was a breakup relationship reading, and then became clear that was a broader reading about a larger issue. So let's just take a breath. Let's take a really deep breath. I want you to just take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. It's called waterfall breathing. And then we're gonna do the same on the way out. We're gonna do it in 3 levels. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it again. Breathing in 1, 2, 3. And then breathing out 3 levels. 1, 2, 3. Wow, so I picked up on so much strength and courage from you, the person who's watching, and also that you are a trauma survivor and an abuse survivor. And this reading really is about healing from abuse. And it is maybe an intense reading. If you're not ready for that kind of emotional journey, maybe don't take it right now. But here it is for you. And I'm seeing the 6 of Swords. I'm seeing 7 of Wands and 7 of Swords. And also, I'm seeing the 5 of Swords. A lot of cards about loss, loss of battle, or just a battle, sneaking out in the night, lies, deception, and the 6 of Swords, which was the first card, is really about moving on from an old situation towards something new. And this is probably something that was in your life for a while, because the 6 can denote nostalgia. Yeah, it was a very intense, some imagery while I was grocery shopping. Sometimes I get into like a zone, and if you're intuitive, you know that if you're in any sort of meditative zone state, like driving, for example, is a really good one. Or just yoga, or swimming. I'm a swimmer, or running, or there's a variety of things you can do. Will open the mind. And I saw a lot of imagery that reminded me of other imagery I've seen recently. For those of you who don't know, I am also, in addition to being an astrologer, medium, and tarot reader, I am clairaudient, and is this clairsentient, I think, or is this clairvoyant? I have had several experiences of hearing deceased energies, or just energy, but yeah, sometimes like a variety of things. I'm not going to get into it, but some of the examples are a little hilarious, because one of them was a pattern where I was staying with someone and I kept thinking it was them, and they were like, nope, that's not me. And it was not them. Anyway, I've been checked for schizophrenia. Don't worry, I definitely don't have schizophrenia. I have been checked for all the mental things that make you like this, and I'm just like this. I also have seen some entities with someone else there, so it was a corroboration of my sanity. But my life is basically, I have a lot of energy, a lot of hot spot energy for dead people wanting to talk to me, and it really opened up there during the pandemic, but it's always been with me, and I call it mediumship. I guess I'm wondering why I'm being called to describe my gift to you. I think that okay, I as I was thinking about my gift and how it developed and how I was young as an intuitive as a child in different ways. I didn't know that I could really communicate with the dead, but I had other intuitive abilities such as strange finding abilities, or like being, my brother and I found the only Easter eggs at this Easter egg hunt once with like 40 kids for Martha Stewart when we were little. I think she was actually literally there. One of many strange occurrences with Martha. I think I'm talking around a lot because the energy of this reading is very anxiety provoking. There's a lot of trauma, and I wanna lighten you a little with some chit chat first before we get into some of the heavy stuff. But I was going to mention The Shining, which is one of my favorite movies, and is like a mirror for me of my experience as a psychic and intuitive person, or just a highly sensitive person, or spiritual intuitive, which is when you just kind of like know things and you don't know why, and it freaks people out. Or you get out of the car and come when you've been called and you haven't even heard them call you, and you just know, and again you freak people out. The Shining is about someone sensitive being stalked by someone who's mentally off. Both people are sensitive if you think about it that way, though, because the father is sensitive enough to be like overtaken by a ghost. He becomes possessed, so he obviously has some psychic opening that he's a writer, right? So he's imaginative, so he's obviously has an opening somehow. And then the son obviously is sensitive too, because when he got there, we learned he could read minds, he could speak with people, he, as they call it, shining, and that he could see ghosts and hear energy, all sorts of. He was a very sensitive child, put into a hotbed, second time I've used this phrase since reading, energy of psychic activity with all the ghosts in that, and all the trauma in that hotel. It's kind of like a microcosm for putting two highly sensitive people in the world. One person might be overcome by negativity and the trauma and the pain of the world and become possessed by it, and one person and become dangerous or rageful or scary or harmful, and one person might become fearful and victimized, perhaps by that other person. So you see, they're both a match. The victim and the victimizer are both people who've been affected by something in the world that disturbed them. The victim, you in this reading, the little boy in The Shining, in my sort of simile here, my SAT simile of your life, I'm reading you as the little boy in The Shining. You grew up maybe in an environment like this, where you were stalked at times, or someone yelled or terrified you. Terror. I'm hearing terror. I'm hearing bravery. A lot of bravery and protection. You protected other people. You protected not only yourself but other people, and you saw the humanity of this person even while they were doing these things to you. And it was really hard, and it took a lot of detachment, but you also got yourself out of this situation. Not like yes, like the little boy. In the end, he and his mom drive off in the ski snow bunny thing, like the mobile little snow thing. I can't explain what it is. They get away from the father who's possessed by the ghosts of the hotel. The thing is with that movie is there were warning signs, because if you remember in the beginning, the little boy is like talking to the mother, and I mean the mother is talking about an event where the father was like drunk and like hurt the little boy inadvertently, like not meaning to. Like he pulled his arm, being like, get out of the way, and pulled his shoulder socket because he didn't realize his strength because he was inebriated. So then he goes into Al-Anon, AA, sorry, and quits alcohol, and there's sort of like a healing there. But then that's like a warning, because once they get into a place that there is a lot of negativity, this hotel where there's been a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, you can think of that again as just a microcosm for the world. Like, the world is full of, we could see the ghosts as just people who are hurting, people who are like, maybe you don't hear someone singing in an old house like I do, or I'm not going to explain some of the other things that I've experienced, but maybe that's not your experience, or maybe you don't like find something magically without knowing how. But maybe you have an ability to, from this experience of being harassed and hurt and scared and afraid. And I don't know when this, I know this was possibly childhood, but there's also been more recent abuse that you are healing from. And I want you to put your hand on your heart with me. We're gonna do a little EFT here. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's called Emotional Freedom Technique. We're gonna say a couple phrases, a couple affirmations. I'm gonna guide you as we close here. So the first affirmation is, I matter. I matter. And we're hitting the meridians here, the stress points in the body. That's what we're doing. And sort of snapping the parasympathetic and just the nervous system in general back into shape. And the next affirmation is, I'm worthy. I'm worthy. And the next one is, I can take up space, and I have the right to take up space. And for this one, we're actually going to stop the EFT, and we're just going to hold our palms to our heart and say that again. I can take up space, and I have the right to take up space. I'm hearing from your guides that this was a very, this was a chosen journey for you, this path to learn your value and your self-esteem so that you can rise above this extreme, I saw a lot of imagery of someone on a bathroom floor crying, feeling powerless, the feeling of looking down a drain. And I want you to honor these experiences where you felt you had no power, because I'm not going to tell you that wasn't real, those feelings. But the real truth is that you are powerful beyond your knowing. You can move through this experience. You can move beyond this. You have your worth. I'm sorry, I get upset. your worth is more than anyone can do to you. Any experience that anyone does to you that is negative or abusive, your worth goes beyond that and is inherent, and your worth is God-given. And that is the message. And thank you so much for tuning in.